If it was a TikTok kind of accounting, if you guys know what I'm talking about, then maybe I'd put it in career choice. It'd be the most frustrating thing in the world. I would drop out. Faster than you can see me blink my eyes. I would drop out immediately. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Clouds. Nice to meet you. So I was actually not going to film a video today because I'm in a bit of a shitty mood. I'm feeling a little bit like sluggish as well and potato-ish, so I didn't feel like filming a video. And on top of that, my phone isn't working anymore, and that just completely threw me out of orbit, which is probably a really bad thing, the fact that I'm so dependent on my phone. Without my phone with me on the weekend, I don't really have anything to distract me, so I have no choice but to be productive. So I turned on the camera and here we are, filming a video. So for today's video, I'm going to be ranking different business majors and different business courses that people do when they either study in business or when they specialize in a specific topic within the business field. And I thought it would be fun to just drag these subjects along and tell you guys what I actually think about each of these subjects, because a lot of you guys watched my recent videos on business management and the pros and cons of business. So I thought it would be relevant to just go deeper into that subject and see which specific modules I actually enjoy and which ones I despise, like absolutely despise. So we will be ranking 9 different business majors and business subjects in this video, and these are strategy, corporate finance, accounting, organizational behavior, economics, marketing, human resources, social media, and business analytics. These are the subjects I find to be the most common within business studies, business management, business administration, like MBAs, Masters in Management. These are also subjects that I've taken throughout my time as a business student and as a master's student. And now for the different tiers that we have. So we have the career choice tier, which means that the subject is so good, like so interesting, that I actually consider it as like a future career choice of mine, if not something that I'm already doing, and something that I would perhaps consider shifting into perhaps. The second tier is I'd read up on this voluntarily. This is where a subject is interesting enough where I would actually, watch a video on it, or I would, read up an article on it. Even if I'm not particularly interested enough to want to make it my career, I like it enough for me to actually read up on it. That's a big telltale because I don't read voluntarily. The next tier is not bad but not good, pretty self-explanatory. Then we have the burn my notes tier, which is the subjects that make me literally want to set my desk on fire. After an exam, I will burn my notes because that subject put me through hell and back, and the only justice I can do after my exam is to burn my notes. So we have those subjects. And then last but not least, we have the last tier, which is I drop out. If I had to go to university again and study this subject, I would drop out. Right there, right then, with no hesitation, I would just drop out. Like, there's no way I'll put myself through this subject again in my life. So yeah, those are the tiers that we have. Let's go with corporate finance first, because I feel like that's definitely a subject that if you've done business, you've done finance. Finance, finance, finance. How can I explain the things this subject has put me through? My aversion to the subject goes to a point where if you say the letters NPV, I hate corporate finance. And this is where my conundrum comes into place, because finance is so important and I need it for my everyday job. As a consultant, I need to know basic finance. So yeah, the reason why I hate it so much is because I actually think it's really difficult. Like, out of all the subjects that I had during my master's, finance was the one where I had to study the most for. Like, I had to do integration when I was doing finance, which I never thought I would do again after my A-levels. I really hoped to never look back at integration or differentiation after I finished my A-levels, because that was a mental struggle. So when I saw differentiation again when I was doing finance, I was like, wait a minute. What if I was suicidal? What if this was my 13th reason? What if this was my last straw? With all this being said, surprisingly, I'm not going to put it in I drop out, because if I was to do another master's and I was to study corporate finance again, I think I would actually enjoy it a lot more now that I have the basics down. Now that I've been through the emotional turmoil, I feel like I have a foundation strong enough to put me through it. And genuinely, I do think it's interesting. So corporate finance basically is like a vegetable. You've got all the micronutrients that I need, you have all the vitamins, all the goodies that I need to supplement my body with. However, it tastes like so that's a very long way of saying it's a burn my notes kind of subject. I would burn my notes, and I think I have burnt my notes before after a corporate finance exam. Next, let's choose social media. When I was at Queen Mary doing business management, there was a social media module that I picked. I don't remember which year, but I picked a social media module, and honestly, a lot of it was bullshit. The market and the industry is not mature enough to fully understand the underpinning theories behind social media. I do think social media is an important subject, and I do think that a lot of companies actually undervalue the importance of social media in their business model. Like, it's essentially free advertisements in a lot of ways, which is a very, very useful tool. Does university courses do this justice? No. Most lecturers that teach social media modules and social media majors in university, they don't know about social media. They're just people who are like in their 30s and 40s who barely have an account themselves and then just learn from what they read up upon, and that's not how social media works. You really have to be on the platforms, be on the apps, and learn the algorithms yourself to fully understand, because they're ever changing. I think I'll drop out. Like, if I was to go back in time, and actually I think that's a bit harsh. I'm gonna put it in not bad, not good. Econ, I actually really enjoy. I like the theories behind economics, and I actually like reading up on econ papers. And do I though? Do I really? Is this me just trying to sound smarter than I am? Econ in general, I would say, is a really good major to take if you go to university. If you choose econ as a course, I do think there's a breadth of different things that you can learn that are very, very interesting. Even though it is falling into the capitalist scheme of thinking that, you know, a commercialized society is a good society, I still think economics is pretty interesting. So I'll put it on I'd read up voluntarily. Would I actually though? Let's be honest, would I actually though? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Actually, I would. I think I would. Certain things I would.
Call me when you want to be honest.
Am I pretending that I would read it just because I don't want to categorize it together with social media? Yes. But let's just ignore that. Alright, which one should we do next? Let's do human resources. Human resources, if you guys don't know, I used to work in human resources for an investment bank for 2 years, and I worked in the operations team, and I also worked within the HR team where I was a graduate recruiter. So that is why I have so many videos on my channel on like CV tips and career tips, because I was actually a graduate recruiter for an investment bank. I actually went for CVs, decided which ones would go through. Also, a little plug, I'm just gonna take a little moment here. If you guys do want help with your CV or cover letters or any career help, I do individual sessions if you guys want. So yes, DM me for one-to-one career sessions, but you know, plug is over. I just had to have a little capitalist, get that bread little moment over there. But let's go back to the video. As a legitimate career path, I don't think I ever considered HR to be something I wanted to do permanently. For me, it really was like a uni job, uni internship, get experience, get those connections, make that bread. But something I'd never really wanted to do as a serious career. That is for a multitude of different reasons. I can go in it in another video, but I wouldn't consider it career choice. Would I read up voluntarily? The answer is yes. I actually do think there's a lot of things within HR that are very, very interesting. I really enjoy thinking about how organizations work and how people managing other people leads to the organizational culture. And another subject that is within HR, it's not completely part of HR, but it has an overlap, is diversity in the workplace, which I also think is an extremely, extremely interesting subject, especially to me. Obviously, for, you know, obvious reasons, it is quite an important subject to me and something that I read up on constantly. Okay, so next let's go into marketing. I kind of feel like marketing is kind of the bread and butter of business. Everyone who's studied business has done marketing. So fun fact, I actually used to want to work in marketing. In my first year of university, I was actually looking specifically for marketing internships. My first internship I've ever done, like first paid internship I've ever done, was in first year and was a marketing position. I don't know when, but somewhere along the lines, I kind of switched off that lights and I was like, actually, I don't want to do marketing. And I wanted to do something more along the lines of like the professional services. I think maybe really down the line, I would do something like marketing consultancy, or I would try to marry marketing and consulting together, because the thought of just doing marketing doesn't appeal to me specifically. I need a little bit more of like the client side, sales side of things. Maybe it's something that I would, reconsider in the future. So I'm gonna put it in career choice, even though it's like a stretch. It's a stretch. I don't really see myself doing marketing in the future, but out of all these subjects, I do think that marketing is something that perhaps I could do. Business analytics. If you guys don't know, business analytics is basically like the coding side of business. I actually think analytics can be extremely fun. I've had a lot of playing around with different softwares and different tools during university when it came to, working with R, working with Tableau. I think business analytics can be fun. I actually do. But with that being said, it can be the most frustrating thing in the world. When your code doesn't work and it's because of that one bracket or that one comma or that one extra space, it honestly, but when you get it to work, it is like heaven. It is just like so beautiful when it works and you don't have to go back and like look at your brackets and look if you... Honestly, this subject has really given me a run for my money, and I'm gonna put it in not bad but not good. So I enjoy it, I think it's fun, and I do think there's a lot to learn from it, and honestly it's gonna be the future. I think everyone should have some sort of basic understanding of analytics. But did it make me cry? The answer is yes. Next, we have organizational behavior. If you guys don't know what this is, it's basically the subject where you have to learn all about the way people work, what motivates people to work well. I also did something very similar to this in my master's in management, which I think was called like people and organizations, or people and businesses, something like that. But it all means the same thing. It's all basically a study of how people work and how people work within businesses. It's basically business meets psychology, which is something that is really up my alley. However, in practice, in the lecture room, it is boring as hell. It is boring as hell. I think a lot of people don't like these modules, and I think because of that, it makes the learning experience a lot more challenging, because there isn't that discourse in the room, which unfortunately affects how I individually learn the subject and perceive the subject. But I do think it's one of those subjects that don't really get enough credits, especially in like the more top-rated schools, where a lot of the students typically are a lot more snobby about the subjects, and they just think that quantitative subjects are the subjects to go with, and if it's not quantitative then it's not valuable. Like, that's not specifically true. Let's just be honest. If the only reason why you don't like a subject is because it doesn't include any numbers, and that's not because you enjoy numbers, that's just because you have the perception that it's harder, more challenging, more relevant for your career, and it's also like people will think you're smarter than you are just a douchebag. Would I read up on this? To be honest, I wouldn't. Even though I'm defending the subject, I don't think I would read up on it. Next, we have strategy. And strategy, if you guys don't know, I am a strategy consultant, so let's just put that immediately in career choice. When I was doing my master's in management, I did 3 different strategy modules, and was it 3 or 4? Maybe it was 4 different strategy modules. And I really enjoy it. I think I enjoy thinking of things, especially businesses, from a very high level perspective. I think the more nitty-gritty into the details it gets, honestly, the more boring it gets as well. Like, thinking about how processes work, how logistics work, how things get from A to Z, those things to me can be very mundane. But thinking about the high level things, like how are we trying to grow, how will we expand into this market, what's the business vision, what's the direction that we want to go into, that kind of thing I really enjoy. I enjoy thinking of things from a high level perspective, which is why I think strategy really resonated with me. It's definitely better than marketing in my opinion, so I don't know why they're in the same tier. I probably didn't really tier this list properly because some of these shouldn't really be grouped together. But yeah, strategy out of all these different subjects, definitely my number one. There is a really special place in my heart for accounting. There really is. And that special place in my heart is called things that make me want to kill myself. If I was to go back into education and saw accounting in the list of things that I will need to learn, immediately no. Immediately no. I would drop out. I would drop out immediately. There's no... So the thing with accounting is it important? Yes. Do you need to learn basic accounting? Yes. Should every business student learn accounting? Yes. Do I want accounting to be wiped out by Thanos? Not necessarily. I think a lot of organizations, if not all, what was that? I think most organizations would probably cripple if they don't have a good accountancy team in place. You need people who count the numbers, count how much money is coming in, how much money is going out. And yes, we need people who do that. Is it going to be me who's going to be counting up those numbers? Never in my lifetime. I would rather wash my eyes with vinegar. I would rather stab my fingertips with toothpicks than do accounting. How can something be so methodical but still so confusing? That's why I hate accounting, because even though like finance is methodical, right? As long as you have the right formulas, you will get to the right answer if you understand the concept. But accounting to me, even though it's methodical and there's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, I still don't fucking understand it. They might as well rename the balance sheets to Claudia's mental states, because it's never balanced. It's not only really confusing, it's also incredibly frustrating because, you know, things don't balance out. So you have to go back and see where your silly little mistake was, where you forgot to add one thing or forgot to multiply by this tax thing. And to top it all off, it's not even interesting. It's just boring. So it's got all the bad features a module could ever have. At least when it comes to analytics, when your code works, you have, you know, pretty charts or pretty world map or pretty kind of graph to congratulate you, all these different colors that you made it in life. But with accounting, when you get everything right and at the end of your balance sheet, you have 2 zeros. Those zeros are basically the representations of things in your life you have to look forward to now that you're an accountant. If it was a TikTok kind of accounting, if you guys know what I'm talking about, then maybe I'd put it in career choice, you know. But the traditional accounting, immediately no. If you are an accountant and you were offended by watching this video, then please reach out to me. I would like to cordially apologize directly. I will give you a sincere apology. I just think accounting is shit, but you probably aren't. So yeah, let me know and I will apologize to you directly. In any other case, if you were like extremely offended, then I feel like that's more of like a self-reflection kind of thing. Like, why are you that offended? Like, if you actually enjoyed your job, I don't think you would be that offended. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Let me know if there's any other ranking videos you guys want me to do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.